us later. I'm here with my mom, Leanne,
Hi, everybody.
and we're here to try to test my system to see if a brand new character, who's like, hey, can I come play D&D or, your tabletop RPG with you? For those who don't know what tabletop RPGs are, they might just call it D&D. So, but yeah, so for Pathways to Adventure, the goal is that if a player pops in and just wants to play, that they should be able to make a character just basically within 5 minutes if you just quickly describe some of their options and give them some limited options to, choose. Um, for more veteran players who actually want to spend, 30 minutes to an hour making a character, there's absolutely options to do that. You can make your character super customized. You don't have to go with the recommended starting equipment or starting abilities. So there's definitely this is more it's built by default for jump in more so than customization for the default stuff. But all of that is part of it. So does that make sense, Mom?
Yes,
Okay, and just briefly, could you explain like your experience with D&D? Like how many years have you played?
I believe 2 years.
And would you say I think it took you about 3, 4 hour play sessions before you were kind of comfortable with the rules?
It did, and then the more I played, the more cool stuff I thought of to do.
Yeah, we'll make a video on that later. She did some really cool stuff as a bard, especially with the illusion magic stuff. She pulled off some really cool feats, made some good memories, as we like to call them. And so, with that though, we're going to jump right into character customization and character creation, excuse me. And so, I'll just read it super quick so we're all on the same page. Character creation in Pathways to Adventure is extremely intuitive as long as you can remember to mind your ABCs, your ancestry, your background, and your class. By choosing each in this order, you can realize almost any character concept you desire. Each has a separate book packed full of options for you to peruse at your leisure, or you can dive right in with what just sounds fun at the surface level if you want to create a character quickly, which is what we're doing today. And so, your ancestry, Mom, is where you come from. It's the combination of your character's physical traits and cultural heritage that define the early years of their life. So that might be like an elf or a giant, even, whatever your game master is comfortable with you playing. We do launch eventually with 30 ancestries for you to choose between and 28 classes for you to choose between. And so let's go into the second part. So that's our ancestry. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Cool. And so the background, this is how you got here. So the aspects, attributes, profession, and origin story that makes you who you are, and sorry, excuse me, that makes who you are before your adventure kicks off. And so we good on that one?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so lastly for the C, it's class, and that's where you will go and what you'll do. So the combination of features and skills that shape how you will interact with the world going forwards. It's also, of course, your abilities as well. And so, with that said, let's jump into the ancestries. I'm just going to describe the categories of them first, because again, there's 30 of them. We don't want to go over every single one of them, but we're going to see which ones you think are cool that you might want to play. Ancestries do have gameplay bonuses, but they are the least influential part of your character creation process as far as power level is concerned. So it's more about picking what's cool and what you like than picking the one that's the best race as they are usually referred to in other games. We use Ancestry because it's a combination of stuff. So the six categories of five each are the populous ones that are really popular, and most worlds have a lot of them in most settings. The shorties, the races that tend to be short or lower in height than the average. The smelly, the ones that are goblinoids, giant kin, undead, gnolls, stuff like that. The scaly, the ones that tend to be related to dragons, kobolds, lizard folk, stuff like that, turtles, with the torts. The furries, these are your things like beast men who have bestial characteristics but are otherwise humanoid looking. um, the kitsune, which are a fox-like race, the felinids, which are cats, the porksies, which are pig-related, and the lupins, which are wolf-related. And lastly, we have the plane touch, the ones that are influenced by the magical planes of existence. You have the hellspawn, the celestials, the elemental kin, the mechanids, and the shades. Do any of those like pop out to you, Mom?
I think possibly elf.
Elf. Okay, a popular choice. So your character is going to be an elf. I don't have it in here, but elves are very accurate, so they start with a bonus to their accuracy for all abilities. So they can be equally good with physical stuff as well as magical stuff at hitting things. But it's only a +1, and so it only gives you a small advantage. It's not a huge one. And so let's jump into the B, the backgrounds. So everyone has a story, a past, a lived experiences, and that leaves an impact on who they are today. Your character's background determines their most character defining and mechanically important aspects. So aspects are real important. So to begin to form your background, first assign your aspect points and determine a reason for each score based on your past. Then select a profession, what you did to get by and put food on your table before your adventuring life. Lastly, I highly encourage you to make up a brief origin story. So it talks about assigning attributes. You can put 3, 2, 1, or 2, 2, 2 points. You get to choose whichever one you prefer. So let's talk about what the aspects are. So they are a combination of a creature's body, so your physical body, their mind, their mental capacity, and their spirit, their raw force of will and ability to, stay positive in the face of adversity. So which of those three speaks most to you, Mom? Or combination? You gotta choose. You gotta choose. Come on, just say
Mm, mind aspect.
no. Okay, so it was a hard choice for her. She wasn't sure, but she wanted us to go with mind. So, um, professions. So, what kind of thing do you think your character might have done in the past? Were they someone who crafted spells? Did they work with leather? Were they a scribe that wrote magical stuff? Maybe an alchemist that made potions? What kind of stuff do you think your character would have done to pay the bills? Okay, she's going to look through a list real quick. And this isn't an exhaustive list. We're going to launch with at least 20, but it's certainly one that we encourage your game masters to be able to easily create and add little special bonuses. And the bonuses for your profession shouldn't be like super huge, but something like if you're a blacksmith, you can repair armor really well out in the field, or you can make a challenge to craft armor. So, having looked at those, Mom, is there anyone that jumps out at you?
Craft spell and incantation scrolls.
Okay, so she's going to be a scribe. That makes really good sense with having a good mind. And so, with that, we're going to jump into the final part of creating a character, which is your class. And so let me go back to that section. Take just a second. Because doing this one-handed. Okay, so since we're trying to keep things simple, there are 4 character classes that focus on the mind stat. Um, the wizard is the simplest one of the 4 for newer players to pick up. So just for today, since we're going to be previewing the wizard, the warrior, and the adventurer, and the cleric on our stream on Saturday, let's start with the